As Mojtaba's commanders push out dramatic Hormuz footage, is Iran now trying to prove Trump is lying about no damage by showing the world exactly what its missiles and drones did at sea? When Iranian media air a warning shot war video while the Pentagon swears its warships were never hit, whose story will the world believe about what really happened in the Strait? With missiles and drones caught on camera streaking past US hulls, is Iran's real goal to challenge American denials, or to send a message that any future transit through Hormuz could look much worse? And as Iran rushes proof onto TV and social feeds, even while US officials insist nothing was actually hit, is this clash turning into a test of firepower, or a test of credibility? Iran has released new warning shot combat footage from the Strait of Hormuz, just as US officials repeat that their guided missile destroyers were never struck by enemy fire. On May 4th, the IRGC pushed out video showing missiles launching and drones flying near US warships in the Strait, framing it as evidence that Iran enforced its red lines around Hormuz. In the edited clips, Iranian state media claim the Navy fired cruise missiles, rockets, and combat drones, describing them as deliberate warning shots around what they call aggressor US vessels. According to Tehran's narrative, those firings took place while US-guided missile destroyers were transiting the Strait of Hormuz under Trump's Project Freedom mission to move trapped ships out. Iran says its forces issued repeated radio warnings that were ignored, and only then escalated to live fire around the destroyers, something Washington flatly denies, insisting its ships continued safely on course. The US military has denied reports that one of its naval warships was struck by Iranian missiles in the Strait of Hormuz. Officials rejected claims circulating in Iranian media suggesting that the vessel was hit during an encounter with IRGC naval forces. US Central Command stated that no American ships were impacted and confirmed that Project Freedom operations remain ongoing. CENTCOM said, and I quote, "Claim, Iranian state media claims that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps hit a US warship with 2 missiles. Truth, no US Navy ships have been struck. US forces are supporting Project Freedom and enforcing the naval blockade on Iranian ports." End quote. A US official also told Axios that no American warship was attacked in the Strait of Hormuz on May 4th. The denial follows Iranian reports alleging that 2 missiles were launched toward a US warship in the region. According to Iranian sources, the vessel had ignored warnings issued by the country's naval forces. Iranian units reportedly instructed the ship to halt, but US personnel continued their movement without compliance. The reported encounter is said to have taken place near Jask as the American vessel approached the strait. Iranian state media further claimed that the warship withdrew after the IRGC's response. Reports described the vessel as having altered course and exited the area following the incident. The latest confrontation comes shortly after the launch of Trump's Project Freedom initiative in the region. On May 4th, the US Navy began operations aimed at guiding stranded commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. An enhanced security zone has reportedly been established south of key shipping lanes to manage maritime traffic. Oman is also said to be assisting in coordination efforts to support navigation amid increased congestion. However, there are no confirmed reports of any country formally accepting the US escort proposal. In response, Iran has warned mariners against cooperating with US forces to transit the strait. An official Iranian statement asserted that the security of the Hormuz waterway remains solely under its control. Iran's armed forces further cautioned that any attempt to bypass its restrictions could lead to serious consequences. Iran Armed Forces statement said, and I quote, "Major General Pilot Ali Abdullahi, in a message emphasizing the Iranian Armed Forces command over the Strait of Hormuz, said that under all circumstances any safe transit through this strait will be carried out in coordination with the Iranian Armed Forces. Supporters of wicked America, be cautious and refrain from any action that might later lead to irreparable regret, as America's aggressive move to disrupt the current situation will result in nothing but further complicating the situation and endangering the security of vessels in this area." End quote.